Most important point is they felt bold enough to fly this thing, entering over Idaho through Montana, the Midwest of the United States. I mean, literally cut a diagonal path right across the middle of the continental U.S. That's never happened before. And then, you know, obviously exiting off the East Coast, and felt like they didn't have anything to fear about it. And it was, in many ways, in my view, it was sending a message for the world. And that is, look, we can fly these things over airspace of the United States, and they can't and won't do anything about it. So what makes you think they're going to do anything anywhere in the world? They're a hollow superpower. That's the Chinese argument. That's the point they're making tonight to the world.
It does seem like an obvious dominance move. So the Biden administration was saying, well, we only had a very narrow window to shoot it down off the coast of South Carolina because then it would drift in international waters, at which point we were bound by something called international law. I mean, the Chinese broke the law by flying it over our country. So why would the Biden administration be caught up in the minutia of international law, which is kind of a meaningless concept? Why wouldn't they shoot down where they felt like it? It's our country.
Well, that's a great question, and one they should answer. I mean, the trajectory of it was pretty clear by early to late last week to early last week. Early last week to late the week before. You could tell the trajectory that it was coming. They were tracking it. They knew it actually went over Canada for a brief period of time as well, and that's also NORAD territory. So they had multiple options to bring it down. Look, I'm not saying detonate this thing over a major U.S. city or a populated area. This thing's the size of 3, city buses. That lands in the wrong place, it's going to hurt people. But they had other options to bring it down. And by the way, the Chinese could have also moved this thing. They didn't feel like they needed to. This thing probably has a self-destruct mechanism on it that allows it to self-destruct if necessary. They didn't feel any need to do that. So ultimately, I think that this, to me, is just one more example of, hopefully, look, it's a balloon, but I hope it wakes people up to the fact that we are now engaged, if the people don't realize it already, in a full-scale geopolitical competition with the Chinese, and they're playing to win, and we're over here messing around with a lot of silly stuff and back talk that isn't addressing the fundamental issue of the 21st century.
Yeah, self-destructive and weak. Senator Marco Rubio of Florida, great to see you tonight. Thank you.